Ani and good day. My name is Adele Loosemore and I'm a Treaty Indian from Shebahonaning. For Killarney and for many other communities along the Great Lakes, steamers were crucial for traveling, for the shipment of equipment and products and livestock. And by 1890, Canada also had a big campaign going to attract immigrants. So many people were heading to lands out west. In this video, we're going to take a look at a brochure by the Great Northern Transit Company, and we'll see what they were offering their customers in 1892. The Georgian Bay Navigation Company was formed in 1876 by Thomas Long, pictured here, and his brother John J. Long. The steamer Carmona was one of their vessels. 4 years later, the company was reorganized and the name was changed to the Great Northern Transit Company. In 1890, the North Shore Navigation Company began competing with the Great Northern Transit Company. People often referred to these companies by their nicknames, which it is said were based on the colors of their vessels' hulls. The Great Northern Transit Company was the White Line. The North Shore Navigation Company was the Black Line. One of the Black Line's steamers, City of Windsor, is pictured here in the Killarney Channel. In 1899, the White and the Black Lines merged with the Northwest Transportation Company. But back in 1892, when this brochure was published, the Great Northern Transit Company was operating a service that allowed people to connect with other water transportation companies in the United States, and also with railways. This map, published in 1885, shows the railway system of the Grand Trunk and Great Western of Canada, and their connections to other points. Instead of taking the steamer route that stopped at all the small communities, a traveler could make through connections, which would bypass many of the smaller places. And they could also transfer to the Grand Trunk Railway, the Canadian Pacific Railway, the St. Paul and Duluth Railway, as well as other steamship lines like the Delta Transportation Company. The Great Northern Transit Company also offered many excursions to Sault Ste. Marie, Port Arthur, Winnipeg, Manitoba, and into the U.S. cities of Chicago, Milwaukee, Duluth, St. Paul, and Minneapolis. The steamer Pacific, shown in this photo, was one of 3 steamers that the company advertised as being the best of the best for service and comfort. The other 2 were Baltic and Atlantic. Here's part of a section in the brochure called What They Saw and What They Said. It describes each of the many communities on the Georgian Bay route. The entry for Killarney says, "The little village of Killarney is the first stopping place on the North Shore. The population here is largely Aboriginal, and like their white neighbors, the Indians derive a considerable portion of their support from fishing. The Laurentian Mountains rise abruptly in the near background, having a narrow strip of land between their base and the water, which has been partly brought under cultivation. At the warning whistle, all scramble on board in good humor, and soon dinner is served, of which fish, fresh, and served so that it can be enjoyed by the most dyspeptic, forms a leading feature. The steamer passes on through islands of all sorts and sizes. The current at this point is very strong, and the course of the vessel shifts frequently owing to the number of islands. The view is magnificent. Many of the islands are clothed with rich verdure down to the water's edge. Pictured here in the Killarney Channel is Majestic, another steamer owned by the Great Northern Transit Company, and it also stopped here regularly. This map from the brochure shows the steamer routes on Georgian Bay. The page on the left shows the distances in miles between various places. The red arrow points toward the location of Killarney, Collins Inlet, and French River. Down south is Wyerton, Owen Sound, and Collingwood. The brochure says the distance between Killarney and Manitowoning on Manitoulin Island is 30 miles, and the distance between Killarney and Wyerton is 100 miles. Here's a close-up view of the map. The steamer's route is shown by the broken line. I added the yellow line to part of the route so you can more easily see that after the steamers left French River, they went into Collins Inlet Village, and then down Collins Inlet toward Killarney. Here's an image of the steamer Atlantic, another vessel owned by the Great Northern Transit Company. The Baltic, the Atlantic, and the Pacific were advertised as representing the highest degree of excellence in every department. The brochure says the cabins are wide, lofty, and palatial in design, while the magnificence of their outfit entitles them to the name of the drawing room steamers of Canada. They even had ladies' maids available to attend to children and ladies traveling without escort. This photo of George Island was taken by Edward Park from the deck of the steamer Atlantic in 1899. There's a smoky haze in the upper part of the photo from the steamer's smokestack. That smoke is more obvious in his photo of Channel Street, which he also took from the deck of the steamer. You'll see that one in a minute. On the left in this photo is the home built by Frank and Marie Pilon, sometime after their marriage in 1875. It was later owned by their son George Pilon and his wife Noella. The house on the right was the home of Bill and Philomene Bocage, who married in 1888. A newspaper correspondent who visited Killarney in 1894, said, "When we reached the pretty little Indian village called Killarney, with the Laurentian Mountains in the background, everybody rushed ashore as if in a desperate hurry to catch a train. But in reality, in order to enjoy a stroll, while some freight was being delivered, and some passengers and their belongings were taken on board." "You had better walk up to the other dock," said the captain, as we started. And so we did, pausing as we went to examine some reels of fishing nets that were drying in the sun, and wondering not a little at the fineness of the meshes, which yet can hold so great a weight of fishes. Then a small stall of Indian goods in birch bark and sweetgrass found many purchasers among the passengers, for the goods were exceptionally well made and the prices were reasonable. The scenery about Killarney is very lovely, and as there is a good country there, it would be an attractive point at which to spend a few days, especially if one was fond of good fishing. The newspaper article that I just read to you was written in July of 1894. This photo is the one I was talking about earlier, taken by Edward Park in 1899. The smoke from the Atlantic smokestack is more obvious in this one. Many thanks to whoever scanned each page of the Great Northern Transit Company's brochure and saved it in a PDF file. The original map for the brochure was on a page that unfolded, so you could see all the routes at the same time. In the PDF file, the map is shown in 4 sections, but there is also an image of just the map, the complete map like the one I'm showing you right now. If you want to download a PDF file of the 1892 brochure and also an image of the complete map, click on the link in the description box below this video. It'll take you to my website, to the page where I posted these 2 items.